Hi, I'm Streaky, this is Metropolis Mastering. Today's episode is about how to get the perfect top end. So how do you get the perfect top end with mastering? Now what you find is that a cheap easy win, which a lot of people try and do, is just by adding a load of top to a track and making it nice and bright and sounding more open, and then putting a limiter across it to get the level up. Job done, send it off. Now the proper way to do it is work from the bottom to the top, so you get all the bottom right, you get that sounding nice foundation if you like, and then you work your way through the frequencies up to the top end. Then you're in a position where the bass is sort of cleared out a little bit, so it opens up your ears to hearing the mids and the top end a bit easier. Then you can start adding little touches to the top, to the mids, and then you can start opening the top up. Now a lot of the time you're trying not to put any EQ on at all, and hopefully with the high end you don't ever need to. Although if you are struggling as a mix engineer with the very tops, best to leave them off, because there's no point in strapping a really cheap sounding plug-in if you're going to then have it mastered at a proper studio. You can have some really nice analog sounding high-end smooth, you know, silky top end put on, and that will open the track up itself, and then it gives the mastering engineer, you know, something to work with. But really sometimes people have already put too much plug-in top end on, so you get this really thin, hard, crispy sound. Now I kind of tend to a little tip that I sort of learnt through cutting vinyl, where you have what's called on a cutting lathe an acceleration limiter. So what it's doing, it's basically, lathes don't like so you put that on and it just cuts that off, because if the lathe gets too much of that, the groove goes like this, and then it gets too hot and blows the cutter head. So you can still use that with digital frequencies as well. So when you're doing something digital, if it's got too much and it's really horrible, just cut into it a little bit with a de-esser or a high frequency limiter. So, you know, sometimes I do it on a multi-band, which is quite nice. I might do it at the end on a multi-band, and then do it at the front end with a de-esser, so that I'm kind of taking off. I can add then a little bit of EQ, then I can sort of play with that a little bit and maybe leave a longer release time so it fills it out a little bit, gets it a little bit creamier. So I might do stuff like that. I would say if you're adding top end, you can get, if you've got strings, or if you're doing something that's got some really nice room noise in it, then anywhere from say 15, actually if you're putting on at about like 25 and you've got the shelf on it and it's going up, it's sort of going up from say 10k all the way through, that can really sound nice. It's very subtle, but it can sound really good. And you can, you know, if you've got vocals and you just want to put a bit of air over vocals, I tend to then do a little shelf at say about 8 going up. You can then obviously then play with that with some limiters and stuff afterwards, or with your multi-band, but it just opens it up nice, opens up that top end of the vocals, and just everything sort of comes together. Now it's a very simple thing to do, the top end, but you need to do it well, and the only way to do it well is to get the bottom end right, is to get the mids tight, and then then you can just put the sort of cherry on the top by getting the top end really smooth. I hope that's given you some tips. I hope that's given you some help. If you've got any questions, please leave them in the comments. Please subscribe, and thanks for watching. Bye.